Hello, I am Lauren Jepson, Executive Vice President of TVIB. I wanted to take a few minutes to share some helpful updates with you about the current Coast Guard enforcement position for owners and managing operators that are not in compliance with the COI phase-in requirement, what you will need to do if you are issued one of these 835s, how the work instruction for laid-up vessels can affect your percentage, and what TVIB has been doing to assist our customers with all of these issues. As a reminder, 46 CFR Part 136, 202A3 requires all owners and managing operators have COIs on board at least 75% of your towing vessels by July 19, 2021. This assumes that our single vessel operators are already at full compliance, as their deadline to obtain a COI was last July 19, 2020. As all of you have been working toward 100% COI compliance during the past couple of years, we hope this information serves as a refresher. However, we want to remind you of the regulatory time periods for each element of applying for a COI. The Coast Guard assumes that because we are almost into the last year of the phase-in schedule, this information should not be new. Owners and managing operators must first schedule an inspection for the initial certification with the cognizant OCMI at least 3 months before the vessel is to undergo the inspection for certification. Then you must submit the Form CG 3752, the application for inspection of a U.S. vessel, to the cognizant OCMI where the inspection will take place at least 30 days before the vessel will undergo that inspection. After scheduling the inspection, you will need to submit documentation to the OCMI that will be used to develop and issue the COI. This documentation will include the initial survey report, the external vessel audit report, vessel particulars, and other such information as needed by the OCMI. Only after these elements have been completed and the COI inspection takes place will the Coast Guard issue the COI. The Coast Guard considers only COIs that have been actually issued in their calculation of percentages. To avoid receiving an 835 for being under 75%, you need to have the COIs in hand on board your vessels by July 19, 2021. If you are following the Subchapter M requirements, that means to be issued a COI by July 19th, you should have already scheduled your vessel inspection before April 19th of this year, and you should have submitted your 3752 to the cognizant OCMI before June 19th. If you have not done either of these two things yet, please do not expect to have your next COI prior to this July 19th. As many of you know, the Coast Guard processing time to issue a COI varies, but some OCMIs are still reporting backlogs in processing them. If you are under the 75% threshold, you should expect to receive an 835 on a vessel in the coming weeks for non-compliance with the phase-in schedule. CVC Policy Letter 20-01 provides the enforcement policy for those owners and managing operators who fail to meet the phase-in percentage by the corresponding date. This letter is available on our website if you do not have a copy. The Coast Guard will be using listed owner data from a vessel's COD as the primary source for them to establish compliance. They are starting with the COD owner before doing outreach to a managing operator. The local OCMIs began this outreach to those identified in their sector earlier this year and have been developing a master list for vessel compliance. CVC is directing the issuance of these 835s to vessels with the oldest to newest build dates for vessels without COIs. According to the policy letter, these 835s will A, be considered as administrative in nature and will indicate the owner or managing operator's failure to meet the requirements of 46 CFR 136, TAC 202A. B. Be visible on the outward-facing side of the Coast Guard's P6 database. And C. Require the owner or managing operator to make the vessel available for inspection within 90 days, and failure to do so will result in a deficiency code of 60, which means it must be rectified prior to movement. If you are issued one of these 835s, you have 90 days to have the vessel inspected, or it will be detained until the inspection takes place. TVIB has discussed its concerns about using COD owner information as the only source of data with various OCMIs, the TVN COE, and CVC4 multiple times throughout the past months. We know that the owner and managing operator may not be the same entity. Vessels in your fleet may be owned by a number of different companies, but operated together. The hailing port listed on the COD may not have any bearing on where the vessel actually operates, which means you may receive a call from an unfamiliar OCMI asking about your fleet information. We at TVIB cannot stress enough that if you receive a request from the Coast Guard to provide a list of your entire fleet, please share that information with them, as they are likely trying to ensure their records are accurate. You may receive this request multiple times, and it may come from multiple OCMIs. We would suggest confirming that your vessel count matches the Coast Guard each time you receive a request, so everyone is on the same page. We have already seen 835s being issued to an owner or managing operator that is, in fact, above the 75% requirement. In this case, you will need to present objective evidence to the Coast Guard that you are in compliance, but they will close the 835 with no further action. 835s that have been canceled by the Coast Guard will not be forward-facing in P6. While we are happy to answer your questions about these 835s, direct action from you, the vessel owner or managing operator, with the Coast Guard is what will be fastest in closing these administrative 835s. Besides COD ownership issues, there is another pitfall that could cause a discrepancy in your numbers compared to what the Coast Guard believes is your fleet size. If you have one or more vessels you consider to be out of service, maybe it's waiting to be sold or not operational or on port risk, but you have not taken official action with the Coast Guard to remove the vessel from service, those vessels still count towards the total fleet size and will be included in the 75% requirement. The Coast Guard is looking for every towing vessel subject to Subchapter M to have a COI, not just those that you are actively operating. How do you fix this? CVC Work Instruction 018-1, published September 15, 2020, provides guidance for surrendering a COI when placing a vessel into laid-up status. Vessels that are laid up with the Coast Guard reduce your overall fleet size and will affect your COI percentage. TVIB staff conversation with CVC provided additional clarification that a vessel is not required to have a COI in order to place it into laid-up status using this work instruction. That means if you have a vessel that does not have a COI yet, you do not need to go through the process of applying for a COI just to turn around and surrender it as laid up. This designation should not be used for vessels in shipyard for extended periods of time or other times of operational hiatus, where you intend to keep the COI and be able to operate the vessel immediately upon the need for it to be returned to service. Please keep in mind that if a vessel is placed into official laid-up status, it will be required to obtain a COI before it can enter service again. We hope this brief overview of the current Coast Guard COI enforcement process has been helpful. As always, we are happy to answer any of your questions. I'd encourage you to speak with one of our operations managers, Jeremy Dyer or Caleb King, and we will help you work through this process together. Thank you for watching.